Right. Let's talk Jewish cows. Or should I say Zoroastrian cows? Hmm. Yes, indeed. Zoroastrian cows. Ahriman, his cows. Not Nariman, which is the good guy. Ahriman. Now, let's read a cool little story, shall we? As far as I can tell, this dates somewhere to probably 3000 BC or maybe a little older. Many days passed, and Zahak lived in fear. The noble Faradun was born, and the world was renewed. He grew as tall as a straight cypress tree, and Jamshid's imperial far radiated from him as if he were the sun. He was as necessary to the earth as rain, as fitting to the soul as wisdom. The turning heavens passed over Faradun and cherished him with loving kindness. The cow called Barmea, the most splendid of all cows, was born, was also born. She was like a peacock, and every hair of her body was a different color. Wise men, astrologers, priests gathered about her and said that no one in the world had ever seen such a cow or heard of one or heard of her or heard of her like from the ancient sages. In his search for Faradun, Zahak filled the earth with rumors, and Faradun's father, Abitin, fled in fear. But he fell into the lion's trap and was caught by some of Zahak's malevolent guards. They trust him, they trussed him up like a cheetah and took him before Zahak, who killed him. When Faradun's mother, Faranak, saw what had happened to her husband, she feared for Faradun, sick at heart. She made her way to the meadows where the cow Barame was grazed. She went to the meadow's owner and weeping bitter tears, saying, "Take this unweaned child into your safekeeping. Accept him as a father would from his mother, and nourish him with that cow's splendid milk. If you desire payment, my soul is yours, and my life will be hostage to your wishes." The keeper of this thicket and of the most splendid cow answered, "I shall be your slave to your son, and I will do as you have asked me." Faranak handed over her son to him and gave him lengthy advice on how to bring him up. The protector was like a father to Faradun, and for 3 years he fed him the cow's milk. But Zahak did not rest in his search, and the world was filled with talk of the splendid cow. Faranak hurried to the meadows again and said to the man who had saved her son, "God has put a wise notion into my heart, and I must act on it, because my son is as sweet as life to me. And I will leave the land of magicians and go with my boy toward India. I'll disappear from men's sight and take this handsome child to the Alborz Mountains." Sorry, I live in a tiny little town. It's just overwhelmed with fucking sirens. Okay, sorry. She traveled with her son as quickly as a courier, and when she reached the uplands, she was like a mountain sheep in her agility. There was a religious man living there who had cut himself off from the cares of the world, and said to him, "Reverend sir, I have come here grieving from Iran. You should know that this noble child of mine will be the leader of his people. He will cut off Zahak's head and cast his belt down in the dust, and you must protect him like a father who trembles for his son's soul." The good man accepted her son from her without a sigh. One day news reached Zahak of the meadow and of the cow Barmea, sorry, And like a maddened elephant, he came there and killed her, together with all the other animals that he could see nearby. Then he quickly made his way to the house where Faradun had been living and searched it, but found no one. He set fire to the building and razed it. I hope that this is as simple for other people to see as it is for me. You see that unblemished cow, that perfect red heifer, would be the opposite of a cow favored by God, you could say. That was not a single hair was the same color. So this is Judaism's beginnings. This is where that ritual comes from, and it is against God. It is satanic. Ahriman, Arimanios, the Pharisee. Yeah. And you see Zahak? Oh, that's King Solomon. Mm, yeah. And he has two snakes sticking out of his shoulders that they have to feed human brains to. Yeah. Isn't that fucking cool? Yeah. One of the greatest books you could ever read, the Shane Ma. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there. I'm going to write a book about it. I'm going to have AI write a book about it. Or maybe somebody will see this, like the idea, and want to write a book with me because I'm not a fucking author. But I made the discovery of a lifetime. J.R.R. Tolkien, his stories, The Lord of the Rings, I believe they're true, at least in some respects. So, and it's all based in Zoroastrianism. And as a matter of fact, this book, the Shane Ma, this is like the good side. This would be our Bible, okay? This would be like the Zoroastrian's Bible, the good Bible, right? And here is the Ariman side. If you want to check it, my little theory, you can read the horror at Red Hook, New York, by the way, where it talks about these devil worshipping Yazidis from the Zoroastrian times, the last of the devil worshipping cult moving to America in the early 1900s. And then you have the Nag Hammadi, which has the dialogue of Noria and Elith, which was also in The Lord of the Rings. You know, the bright glowing lady in the forest, the elven chick with her skin glows. That is the dialogue of Noria and Eleth. And I have more. The Mahabharata. God, I love this. I haven't even really started reading yet. I've just kind of picked through it a couple places. This is amazing. And there's a story in here about a baby that is put into a box full of jewels and shit and floated down the river. Okay. Guess what? It's also in here, the Shanema. So these books overlap. Not saying they follow each other perfectly, but they do overlap in space places. I'm gonna work on that. And oh, there's the Sumerian kings list because in here, Faradun, or maybe it ain't Faradun, I forget who it is, his name, reigned for 1,000 years. Rostam reigned for 360. Um, the next guy under him, I can't remember his name right now, I'm sorry, but he ruled for 120. Those years match names on the names don't match, but the fucking lengths of reign are damn near or almost perfectly identical to the Sumerian kings list. I don't know how like this shit is crazy. And also whatever was flying around in here shooting flames from swords, and the Smeorg bird that saves a king named Sam that was in the Lord of the Rings and it saved Frodo Baggins and Sam is in that book. And the four tusked war elephants that are in the movie are on temples in Angkor Wat, Indonesia, and also in India. And they've been extinct for 1,000,000 fucking years. Yeah. This is why Jesus called Judaism the synagogue of Satan. Jesus wasn't a Jew. He was Pakistani. He came from the land of the Aryans. That's why they hate blue eyes. You see, white people, I think, this is a little radical, but I kind of think we're Pakistani. We're Aryans. Well, I know it is because it goes Persian, Prussian, Parisian. We we shuffle a few letters around and oh, this is somehow some different thing now. Right. Uh, I'm tired of the bullshit. Because this dumbass 44-year-old ex concrete, ex drug addict, ex alcoholic that did not graduate high school might rewrite part of history. Boom! I'm down. Dig it. Proud of myself for one damn time in my life. So if you're a Tolkien fan, you better start a reading. You better start a reading. You better start reading. Because it's like the coolest shit on earth, man. And also Terrence Howard, where he talks about how he was, like his conception, you know, that's also in the Nag Hammadi, which is also the dialogue of Noria and Aleph. Because really what that's about is the womb. They took some artistic license with it in the Lord of the Rings and made it something a little different, but the theme is still there. And in the dialogue of Noria and Aleph, the great angel Aleph spoke to me and said, I am understanding. I am one of the four luminaries who stood before the great invisible spirit. Do you think these rulers have power over you? None of them can overpower the root of truth. For on behalf of the root of truth, figure has appeared in the last days, and these authorities cannot defile you or that generation. And these authorities, for they are the authorities of chaos and their work. So that root of truth is the umbilical cord. The figure that appears in the last days is the baby. And the authorities of chaos and their world is your consciousness controlling all the chemical reactions building the baby, building the figure that appears in the last days. That's fucking cool. That's my story, and I'm fucking sticking to it.